Just let us adore you. So, Steven Universe, the movie this time. Now, this is going to be a little awkward for me to talk about. I'm probably going to miss a lot of fine points and specific details that go on because I meant to get to the review to this before my kiddo insisted on plowing through Steven Universe Future as fast as possible. I was not able to do that, so I've actually not only already seen, but already shot my review for Steven Universe Future, and now I have to think back to the movie and try and cover that. I think that's why there's going to be a lot of big, broad points and not a lot of super specific stuff, because much of Steven Universe has kind of bled together for me. That in and of itself is not a criticism. When the episodes are as short as they are and it became as serialized as it did toward the back end, I'd actually say that that's just the nature of the beast, honestly. So, with that understanding, the movie. First of all, we have the time jump forward, which is kind of an initial setup for Steven Universe Future. Which my review for that is not out and will come out after this, but I have already shot. So I already have my thoughts on Future. So it's setting up that, it's jumping ahead. Things are quiet, calm. The diamonds have chilled. Everybody seems good. Then Spinel shows up. So, a couple of things about Spinel. First of all, I see why they did this kind of character in terms of style and animation for the movie, because, and this was really driven home when she does show up eventually in Future, and the animation is toned way down. You can tell that the additional resources they had for this movie, a lot of it went towards animating Spinel in this very Fleischer, early Disney, everything's just bouncy, it never stays still, noodle arms kind of style, which was cool. It was just kind of cool as a contrast, and it was really interesting seeing that being done for sinister machinations, because there's a lot of just cultural nostalgia for that, but I think giving that a sinister vibe, which is becoming more generically popular. Cuphead does that to a certain extent. There was what the heck was it? The Ink Machine, whatever it was, games here. I don't even know. But regardless of that, I still like that. I still like that kind of approach to treating this material in this style. So I dug that. Songs were good. Lots of good songs in this one, which, Steven Universe, not a shock. The storyline is solid. It really does feel like, in a lot of ways, the show kind of becomes a series of, they keep becoming friends with someone who used to try and do harm to them. It starts with Lapis and Peridot, and then later on, you're dealing with the diamonds, and now it's like, oh, well, how about somebody who is trying to murder the entire planet out of revenge for Rose and is happy to remove all memory of friendship from Steven's friends just to torture him? Bet you'd think we can't redeem that character. Oh, no, of course they did. It feels like a certain amount of one-upsmanship to a certain degree. The structure is very odd. Like the whole thing of bringing the memory of the characters back by sort of reintroducing them to major life points it's interesting, but I feel like there's an element of that I would have expected this show to explore that it doesn't, which is that in a lot of ways, in some cases, especially Pearl, what you're basically doing is trying to get them to relive their trauma. Like in the case of Garnet, you do have that benefit of, this is a reconnection. This is reestablishing something that makes her whole and happy. But like a lot of Pearl stuff in specific, that's trauma you are trying to recreate to reintroduce her old memories and personality through. And I feel like that should have been brought up, especially in a show like this that deals a lot with that. And there's actually another thing that this kind of circles back to when I talked about season 5, and I noted that in general, I wasn't thrilled with the twist that Steven's mother was Pink Diamond. Not for the twist in and of itself, but I actually thought that they did a much better job showing Steven grapple with the idea that his mother had shattered a diamond. I found that much more compelling and much more thoroughly examined than anything that he thought about the fact that his mother was Pink Diamond. Like, the big issue there seemed to just be the fact that she hid it. And it no longer seemed to be as big an issue of what she actually did. It became about the lies she told, not about the actions she took. And that's just not as compelling. And part of that also is like, yes, you could make the argument, well, I'm sure she did many even worse things as Pink Diamond. Yes, but then on the trajectory of Rose's development as a character, what that means is she was only ever getting better, effectively. Because, like, as a diamond, yeah, she probably did some terrible stuff. But then she became Rose Quartz, started fighting against the diamonds, and was just always working towards getting better. Slipping up along the way, making some mistakes, but progressing forward. What was really intriguing about the idea that she shattered Pink Diamond was that it was the idea that his mother, who was doing the right thing and fighting hard, chose to do something terrible. And so it breaks up that straight trajectory of goodness or getting better. It gives it a massive dip that now Steven had to try and reconcile. And then it undid it by revealing that she's a diamond. Oh, so she actually started out worse than we ever thought, but she was only ever getting better. In an interesting way, this movie kind of indirectly tackles that by introducing Spinel. Because I feel comfortable saying that what Pink did to Spinel is the worst thing we know for certain she did. You know, just as a diamond, there's a lot of implied things she might have done that would have been worse than this. But as far as things that we actually definitely see her do, leaving Spinel in that garden and not telling anybody that she was there, and just leaving her and never coming back. That's probably the worst thing she's ever done. And Steven's reaction to finding that out is, yeah, that sounds like her. Which was supremely disappointing that was his reaction. I just feel like it's like the writers looked at how much he'd been put through the ringer of grappling with the idea that his mom might have shattered somebody, that basically they felt like they'd already had him do his emotional catharsis and they're just going to gloss over it after that. So that when it's revealed that she was actually Pink Diamond, it's like a little bit of a hang up on him for her having lied, but it's actually much more a hang up for the other diamonds. And so Steven's more worried about managing their emotions. And then he finds out about Spinel. He's just like, yeah, that tracks. Which in general is actually kind of a reaction I like, but not him. Not for this character in this show that deals with these themes. That really, really threw me off. That I really do feel this is the worst thing we know for certain that she did. And nobody really seems to address that fully, properly. Like, it's acknowledged as a bad thing. Yeah. But this should have had more impact than it does. And that's just kind of the big irritation I have with this. Visually, it's nicely done. You know, it is continuing the story. It sets up Future. And, you know, my feelings of Future are kind of complicated, but it is a good stepping stone from here to Steven Universe Future. But the more I think about how the reveals and the specifics of Rose Quartz as Pink Diamond were handled both conceptually and execution, the less I like it. I really do feel like most of my major issues, aside from Ronaldo, aside from the fact that he simply continued to exist, most of my major issues with this show stem from problems and concerns and annoyance with the execution of that concept and the fallout or lack of appropriate fallout in some cases. And I feel like this is just kind of continuing on from that, which makes it more frustrating than it should be. That's just where I'm landing. Steven Universe, the movie. What do you think about this? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, share, subscribe. Patreon. Yeah, you know what's funny is Last video, at the time that I'm recording this, I haven't put up my review of seasons 3 through 5 even yet, and to say nothing of future. So I don't know, because I don't check fandoms very much. I don't know if my trajectory of falling for the show and then getting frustrated with the tail end, or at least specific aspects of it, is the typical fan journey, or if I'm going to be an outlier. I really have no idea. I hope it's not the latter. I don't need another fandom ticked at me. The show's good. The only reason I'm annoyed by this stuff is because I know the show can and has done this stuff better and in more depth. Anyways, don't sweat it too much. The like, share, subscribe, they help me out. That'd be great. But you know what? We try and take a relaxed attitude around here. So just come on back next time you need a break. It's the end credits. Means I got to shout out some patrons. This month, it is Turok, Oliver B., Linda Walters, TT, Robin Powell, Frenobulax, The Poodle, Eidolon, Tracy Scrabbit, Dharma, Michael Doyle, Vincent Paul Bartolucci, Angry Casperl, Adam Lefty Taylor, Robin Moore, Shayla Gourlay, and Bookworm. Thanks so much for your support.